You know, I don't even know where to begin with this god-forsaken dumpster fire known as Riders Republic. Listen to that name, Riders Republic. You can tell that the creativity well over at good old Ubisoft, good old copy and paste Ubisoft has run dry. You see, people have been harping on Ubisoft for the longest time, decades. You got nothing original, you copy and paste your games, every game series feels the same, and you've bastardized what made you once great. But see, folks, this is the alternative. This is what happens when they attempt to make something original. Quite frankly, if this is what we're going to get when we demand originality from Ubisoft, they can go back to making the same Assassin's Creed game every year. They can go back to milking Rainbow Six Siege with decades worth of DLC characters that they demand real money for, or otherwise you slave hours away in a game just to get enough in-game currency to purchase and play as them. They can go back to never releasing another Splinter Cell, because if Riders Republic is what happens when they get original, my God, I shake in my boots and my heart crumbles in fear at what they would possibly do to my beloved Sam Fisher. I don't want them coming near him with a 10-foot pole if Riders Republic is the most originality they can shit out in 2021. But you know what? I can't blame them fully. You know what? They share about 50% of the blame, but the other 50% of the blame rests with you. You fucking clowns who are gonna buy this overhyped piece of MMO sports garbage, and you want to live out your wildest extreme sports fantasies playing as a fucking moron, flying around in wingsuits, riding bicycles, snowboarding, skiing, and God knows what else in a goddamn video game. This isn't like Call of Duty where you need to lay your life on the line and go experience a fucking war with bullets raining down all around you, grenades exploding to your left, to your right, shrapnel smashing into your face, the cries of your fellow brethren as they collapse in a mass of bullet storms and explosions. This isn't like that. You can go ride a bike. It's like $100 to get a bike. You can go snowboard. It's like $100 for a snowboard. Now, I mean, if you want to fly in a fucking wingsuit, you're probably going to die anyway, and your intelligence shows just how fucking stupid you are that you would want to even do such an activity. But hey, wingsuits aren't expensive. Those of you who think it's a good idea to go fly in a wingsuit, let's let evolution take its course, and let's let Darwin's theory play out, all right? But I fear for this next generation, we are raising a generation of fat, gelatinous underachievers who have no goals in life. And what they do imagine themselves playing out, they play in virtual reality instead. I mean, extreme sports is already all but dead. That clown Tony Hawk pretty much killed both skateboarding as a sport and the skateboarding video game genre. But BMX has been dead for 10 years. Extreme snowboarding's been dead for 10 years. Wingsuit, don't make me laugh. These fucking clowns have ruined everything. There are no up-and-coming stars, and you know what? You're to blame because you're buying this trash to live out those wild sports fantasies, to do things that you should be doing in real life. I mean, each and every one of you rode a bicycle as a child, I would hope. And instead of going out and rekindling a childhood hobby into a passion for adulthood and capturing some of that magic you had 10, 20, 30 years ago, you fuckers are content to give Ubisoft $60 so you can play this piece of dilapidated trash in full 4K glory instead of getting off your fat ass and doing something with your own life. And even if we want to remove the fundamental problem of your laziness being the primary motivation in which you're purchasing this game from, the game itself sucks. It's not fun. The three different quote-unquote distinct sports all feel incredibly the same. The wingsuit has you flying through goddamn rings. There's only one game that has me flying through rings that I play, and that is the absolutely underappreciated game of the year from 20 years ago, Superman 64. All right? Nobody does it better than Superman 64. Often imitated, never duplicated, Superman 64 was robbed. Superman 64 is the definitive Nintendo 64 game, not Mario 64. The wingsuit's trash. That leaves us BMX and snowboarding. Well, first off, unless you snowboard and ski like a goddamn mouse being chased by a cat, you're going to find this incredibly boring. And it's the same story with the bikes. The traction isn't there. The sports feel incredibly similar. They're not realistic, which is fine if they went for this arcadey approach, but they rely too much on tricks. The actual core gameplay feels so goddamn shallow, feels so goddamn overdone that even though this is a venture of originality and a step outside the comfort zone for Ubisoft, there were games 20 years ago, back in the golden era of gaming for the PS2, GameCube, and original Xbox that did this shit 10 times better. I mean, we're talking ATV Off-Road Fury, we're talking Freak Style, we're talking all the BMX games, even the Tony Hawk games laid a foundation for the sports that they were trying to portray as being fundamentally better than this absolutely low-tier effort we're seeing from the lazy developers at Ubisoft. It's just garbage gameplay. You know, the idea here is to make it an MMO where you gear up with your friends and you go from wingsuits to biking down a mountain to snowboarding and catching some fucking tricks off of a massive hill, but it just doesn't play out like that in actuality. And I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you this if you were looking forward to this game, but quite frankly, if you were looking forward to this game, that just shows your single-digit IQ. That just shows what a goddamn loser you are that you would even think about giving Ubisoft money for Riders Republic. Riders Republic? More like Frauds Republic, because the only people that are going to be caught playing this trash are the fucking neckbeards living in mommy's basement, sitting there in their white wife beater and their disgustingly unchanged tighty whities that have been crusted onto their nutsack and their asshole. I'm done with Ubisoft. I give this the first ever negative review score. Dead Metal Media gives Riders Republic -5 out of 10 because the game not only actively wastes its players' time, the story is completely forgettable, and the fundamental foundations, the building blocks of what makes the gameplay quote-unquote fun, are disastrous, completely mismanaged. They do nothing for the player except make you actively want to shoot yourself in the head. And most of all, it's egregious that they think they can ask you money for this trash product. Do not buy.